everybody! Today is December 4th. This means
21 more days till Christmas.
21 more days till Christmas. Yes, and I see you are in the Christmas spirit with your Santa Claus hat. And are we excited about Christmas? Yes, excited about what? What are we excited about?
Family.
Spending time with family? Yes, we do have a lot of people that we all get together for Christmas and presents and food and all that good stuff. Well, I am excited about this, our Advent calendar, our Advent blocks that we've been going through. So let's go ahead and review what we have been learning about so far. So we talked about how Christmas is God's love story to His world, right? It's God's special story. His Christmas story is a love story to His world. We talked about how it all began and how God started over and about how God made a crazy promise. And today we're going to talk about day number 4. Day number 4. So you're going to put day number 4 right there. And you put the star on top of it because that's our day for today. So let's see what God is going to talk to us about in His story, His Christmas story for today. Well, do you remember yesterday's story? We talked about a man named Abraham and the big promise that God made to him. God's big promise was that one of Abraham's great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren would be the child that would bring God back to earth. We know who it was, don't we? Who was it?
Jesus.
Jesus, yes. But Abraham didn't know that. But God did keep His promise to Abraham. He gave Abraham and Sarah a son, just like He promised. But sin was still in the world. Sin was still here on the earth. And sin was still in people's hearts. And sometimes sin was still in Abraham and Sarah's hearts. See, God kept His promise to Abraham and Sarah. But Abraham and Sarah didn't always keep their promises. And sometimes they sinned in ways that hurt other people. Well, one of those people was a woman named Hagar. Hagar lived with Abraham and Sarah, but she wasn't treated very well. She did everything Abraham and Sarah told her to do, but it never seemed like enough. Why? Well, Sarah was jealous of Hagar. I'm sure you know what it means like to be jealous of someone. Are you ever jealous maybe of your sister sometimes, or friends at school? They have something that you want, or they can do things that you want to do.
It's called envy.
Well, yes, exactly. And it's very hard to be jealous of someone and loving to someone at the same time. Well, one time Sarah was so mean to Hagar that Hagar ran away out into the desert. And it looked like Hagar was going to die all alone out there because there wasn't any water in the desert. But God came to her. God saw right where she was. And God gave her some water. Not only that, but God promised to give Hagar a son too. Hagar was surprised that God looked out for her. So surprised that she gave God a special name. That special name means God sees me. Well, I wish I could tell you things got better after that, but when Hagar went back to Abraham and Sarah, they weren't any nicer. So Hagar had to leave again, but this time she had to take her son with her. And just like the last time, they were wandering around in the desert with no water. But this time she had to take care of her son too. It looked like Hagar and her son were going to die because there was no water in the desert. And just like last time, Hagar began to cry. She began to cry. But just like last time, God saw her. Nick, did you know God always sees us? He always sees us because He loves us. Well, God saw Hagar. And just like the last time, God heard her. And just like the last time, God gave Hagar and her son water. That is what our symbol is on number 4. Nick, you want to turn around number 4 for us? Show it to our friends. It is a well. That is what God showed Hagar. The well. The well is where you have to put a pitcher in and pull up the water. It's like deep in the, yeah. Well, God gave Hagar water from a well. And her son too. He took care of both of them. You see, God was with Hagar, just like he was with Abraham and Sarah. Even when Sarah was mean to Hagar, even when she felt alone in the desert, even when she thought she would die from thirst, God was with Hagar, wasn't he? And God was with Hagar's son too. Her son would grow up to be a great warrior later and an expert with a bow and arrow. And years later, he would have kids of his own, and he would become a great nation too. Even while Hagar's nation became great, they kept on wandering around the desert though. And as they wandered the desert, they wished they could find a true home. A place where all the wrongs were made right. A place where the dark was made light. Well, God would provide a home just like that, but it would be a very long time before he did. While they were way out in the desert, God seemed far away. But Hagar began to hope and pray. God, will you come back to stay? Let's see. I love hearing about all the ways that God is showing us his love and how he is with us. And he does come back to stay, doesn't he? We will talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.